G'day guys, my name is Larissa and today I'm giving you my thoughts on what I think of RWBY Volume 4 so far, now that we're seeing chapters 1, 2 and 3 and we have a bit of a break before chapter 4 is out. So make sure you check out my reactions to RWBY Volume 4 if you missed them. I will pop it up in the card section above to my playlist as well as in the description below. And if you missed my chapter 1 reaction which got blocked, it is unblocked. All my reactions are blocked, so definitely make sure you check them out if you missed them. So this isn't a review video, this is just my thoughts and opinions so far. I just thought, yeah, I'll do something like this and I might do it every 3 chapters. We'll just see what happens. So chapters 1 to 3 to me feel like an introduction to Volume 4, setting the scene for about what is to come, which I suspect will definitely be some more feels for sure. Like the first scene we saw in chapter 1 with the groom coming out of Puddle firstly, which answers the question about how groom are born or spawned. So I was raising more questions, and that beautiful scenery shot of Salem's realm. But in that first bit of the chapter, we got to have a bit of an insight into Salem's plans, which we weren't expecting, as well as to see the other baddies there, the new baddies, and how Cinder turned out, as well as with Emerald Mercury there too. So that was really setting the scene for what I think will happen further on in the volume. And then we had a glimpse of Farmer Boy, Mystery Farmer Boy, which the fandom went absolutely nuts about. If you follow on RWBY and Mino, there's a lot of theories and thoughts on Farmer Boy. What he is he Ozpin? Is he the Spring Maiden? I just think my personal thought and theory on him is that he's neither of those, that he just had some really awesome semblance, that he can maybe truth dream. Maybe he was dreaming of Salem and the rest of them, and he saw that, he knows what happened, and maybe Ranger will run into him and he'll know who RWBY is, even though her name wasn't mentioned. Recognise maybe Silver Eyes, I don't know, he might help them out. I think he's definitely got an important role to play, but I don't feel like he's Ozpin or the Spring Maiden or anyone like that. But I guess we'll find out. He wasn't in the intro, but I think he will definitely have some role to play going forward. Let me know what you think in the comments below, what your thought is with him. and then we got to see Team Ranger, which was fantastic. I loved the little joke about whether it's what was it, Team Junior or Team Ranger, and we got to see the Geist Golem, and it was an amazing fight. And then we got to see them visiting a village and John getting his gear, the hoodie with Pumpkin Pete on it, which was hilarious. But yeah, we got to finally see John in his new Volume 4 outfit. Oh, I love the Volume 4 outfits, all 4 of them, they're fantastic. And of course we had a glimpse of Weiss at the end. But with Ranger in chapter 2, we saw them a bit more as well. Saw them visiting the village of Xion, which had been destroyed by bandits, which if you've seen the latest World of Remnant, it explained a bit about them as well. Now we'll be putting a reaction up to that once it's on YouTube. And also there was sort of maybe a hint of a connection to Ren and Nora's past there too, which was really interesting. And we got to see RWBY and John in particular dealing with death of Hero and what happened in Volume 3 in their own different ways, which of course feels. and yeah, Weiss. So we got a glimpse of Weiss in Atlas with her family. Saw the family portrait. She has a younger brother, Whitley. Her mother was out drinking in the garden. I would be too if I had to deal with the father Jarks, who seems to be a complete jerk. And we also saw the general there too, and that Jarks is planning to do a charity ball, and also that there was a dust embargo too, which I might hint a bit more about on that later on. And of course we can't forget Klein, the butler. He seems so amazing. I definitely think he is the reincarnation of the 7 dwarfs from the Snow White story. He was awesome. And then moving into chapter 3, Blake and Sun. So we saw Blake, she dissed the bow, which was a bit sad. But we then got to see a glimpse of an aquatic Grim, was amazing. The Wyvern thing, I don't think they've announced the name for him. I think a lot of people in the fandom are calling him Sam. Is it Sam? think it was, because they called the dragon in Volume 3 Kevin, and the Nevermore, and also in Volume 3, yeah, this is at the end, chapters, so 12 and chapters 9, was Steve, the Nevermore. So I think they're calling this Grim Sam. I might be wrong there. Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, that was amazing. Awesome fight. We saw Sun. It was hilarious. It had lots of throwbacks there for the previous volumes. It was just so funny. It was great. But we also learned that Blake is indeed heading to her home in Menagerie, and Sun is tagging along. And then we also had a glimpse of Yang at home at Patch with Tai. Father of the Year award goes to you, Tai. I do also feel sorry for him to see his daughter going through this, you know. Yang is taking it hard, as we suspected. There's a lot of trauma there, as you could see, and she's having trouble dealing with it. We do also get a little bit of an updated situation with Vale and Beacon through Yang watching it the TV, and it was Wyatt was there too. You got to notice that he sees Wyatt in the corner. He was there, and and Tai getting Yang the robotic arm, and but yeah, Yang's just not ready for it. And then that last scene with Salem. So we started with Salem and we ended on Salem. So it sort of came, like, to me, it just seemed a bit like a story arc in a way. So we ended up with last scene with Salem, where she was doing her treatment to Cinder, and they had that sear grim. So that jellyfish grim, it's called a sear grim. If you saw my reaction, I've had a note that on the credits in the design art, if you look really closely at the top, it says Sear Grim. I have a fly flying across. Go away! Sorry, it's first warm day here and we have to have flies. Anyway, yeah, it's a Sear Grim, and Sana seemed to communicate with it, and of course asked Cinder if she killed Ozpin. She said yes, she spoke, and yes, apparently she killed Ozpin. And that's when Salem mentioned to the Sear Grim, reinforce our troops there, the relic must be there, must be found. I'm like, what relic? And then she's like seeming to talk to Ozpin too. It was really strange, but yeah, that's where it ended. And then we had the World of Remnant. Now, if you haven't watched this, I'll pop a time up here where you can skip to it to avoid spoilers, but it was really interesting. It just gave us a little more of an outlook of what life is like outside the kingdoms with the villagers, and it mentioned about the bandits. Bandits were targeting villagers at the weakest points, whether they were just been attacked by the Grim or the hunters were out, so they attacked. But of course they brought Grim with them unintentionally, because the Grim attacked us in negative emotions, then attacked the villagers. And my feeling with the fact that this was mentioned all in the World of Remnant is that we're going to probably see some more of the bandits in the future. But it made sense for them to do a World of Remnant on this, because we're seeing Ranger outside the kingdom, so yeah, to give a bit more of an insight to life outside there. And there was that last little bit at the end where Crow's like, she's out there, obviously referencing to Salem. So yeah, so that's basically a recap of what's happened so far. It's been so amazing. The scenery, from the creepy scene with Salem's realm to the beautiful sort of farm country scene where we saw where the farmer boy opened the barn. The scene where RWBY at night, when she's woken up and she's just walking through the trees to find John, and you've got the little bugs, and of course the sunset scene with the ship, Blake's ship as well. The scenery is just amazing. The lighting effects, especially with Weiss's scene when she's walking through the halls, the lighting coming through the windows, and of course we can't miss the fact the expressions, some of the expressions that we've seen, the facial expressions, have been really spot on and really good as well, especially the comedy ones too. And there's already been quite a few memes already made with like John's expression from chapter 1 and RWBY's as well. So yeah, a few little questions I thought I'll answer. My favourite fight scene so far would have to be the one in chapter 3 with Blake and Son against the Wyvern. I loved it because it was so funny, and there was so much action going on, and it was just awesome. I just really loved it, and it was a new Grimm we haven't seen before as well. I really loved it. It was only the second fight scene was seen, because the first one would have been against Team Ranger against the Geist, the Golem Geist thing. So really it was the only second fight scene we've seen, which is quite surprising for RWBY. Usually you get a bit more, but there was just a lot more, we were getting a lot more information and setting the scene, as I said before, in these chapters. So I'm expecting we'll get some more fight scenes later on. My favourite funny scene would have to be John's hoodie with Pumpkin Pete on it and RWBY just laughing. It's got a cute bunny on it, and pulling over and laughing and legs going in the air. That was so funny. And but they were like, but you know, that's insensitive to Pyrrha and rah rah. I don't think RWBY knew about Pumpkin Pete and Pyrrha being on the Pumpkin Pete's Marshmallow Flakes box, because if she did, she would have said it's Pumpkin Pete, not a cute bunny rabbit. So I don't think she knew about it. And John's had that hoodie since we first saw him in chapter 1 of volume 1. So he's had it since the beginning, before he met Pyrrha and knew anything about Pyrrha. And we've always wondered what was under his armour. So that's our one mystery. There's so many more mysteries now. But yeah, that was definitely my favourite funny scene. It was hilarious. My most shocking moment would have to be at the end of chapter 2 with John training with that clip of Pyrrha on his scroll, and it was just, I wasn't expecting that, and it was so heartbreaking, yet it was just so beautiful as well. I didn't mention the lighting come through the trees in that scene as well. It was just so beautiful yet so sad. And if you missed my reaction to that, I was crying. Actually, I don't think I've seen a reactor yet who didn't at least get teary. It was so sad, but just so heartbreaking. But it shows how John's dealing with his grief and how he's getting through it. He's seeing to moving forward to this, and I really think it will improve his character development coming on into the future. Most unexpected moment for me was Yang's robotic arm. I just was not expecting that. Yes, I know she would get one eventually. They have the technology, but I just wasn't expecting it to be a first scene seeing Yang in volume 4 and she's got a robotic arm. It's like, what? But she didn't accept it, which to me, I'm kind of happy with that, because I don't feel like she's ready for it yet. And yeah, so hopefully maybe by the end of the volume she'll be ready, but possibly not. Like, even in her, like the artwork they've shown for her, it looked like she didn't have it on, but then again, you could have just seen the elbow, the back of the elbow of it. I don't know. But, yeah. And even her posters, though, like, they released these individual posters, and it had, like, ones for each of the girls, and Yang's actually had, like, Basilica, her weapon, with cogs and bandages on it. I'll try and if I can put a photo, I'll put it there. Yeah, so yeah, maybe, I guess that was hinting for us that she was getting it. But the first, chapter 3, the first scene we see, but yeah, that was very unexpected. I did ask on Twitter, on RWBY and Mino, a few questions, and I've got a couple back. Imperial Dawn, make sure you check him out on Twitter. He does amazing artworks. He said, of the characters we have not seen yet, who do you think we will see and not see in the coming chapters? So, well, we've only seen Crow in the intro, so I guess he does kind of count, but I'm expecting we'll see Crow in chapters 4, 5, 6 at some point. He has to make a showing at some point, because he seems to be following Team Ranger, but then again, he might be off doing something else, I don't know. But I definitely think we'll see him and Raven at some point as well. I'm hoping we'll see Weiss's mum. Like, she wasn't in the intro. I had her father and a brother there in the general, and Klein, but it didn't have her mother, and we've only had mention of her. We saw in the portrait, but we haven't seen her, so I'm hoping we'll actually get to see her mother and what she looks like as well. And I'm hoping we get to see some of the other teams that we saw back at Beacon, once Team Ranger gets to Mistral. So I'm not sure whether they'll get to Haven. To think for a second, they get to Haven in this volume. I'm not sure. yeah, I guess we'll find out. Storytime Family asked me, what is your favourite moment so far? My favourite moment so far would have to be with Team Ranger fighting the Geist. I've watched that scene over and over. It's hilarious, it's funny, and I loved how RWBY and Nora worked together. Sorry, getting croaky. RWBY and Nora working together to defeat the Grimm at the end. That was my favourite moment so far. They also said, is anything that left you confused? Yes. I think a lot of us were confused about all sorts of things, but at the end of volume 3, where Saiyan was like, what are you planning? I'm like, you just found Osmond's dead, you don't think he's dead? What's going on? And that's probably where I'm most confused at the moment. Hopefully we'll get some more enlightenment coming further on. So yeah, overall, I've loved chapters 1, 2, and 3. We've had laughs, we've had feels, we've had all sorts of different emotions going on here. And it'll be exciting to see what's going to happen in chapters 4, 5, and 6 and beyond. What I'm thinking will happen is we're going to see Team Ranger more, I'm thinking. We're definitely going to see Team Ranger. Perhaps they'll run into some bandits, since that was hinted in the World of Remnant, but they definitely will be moved towards Haven. They'll have to continue going on foot now, since they couldn't get the airship they were planning to get in Xi'an since it was destroyed. So they'll keep going forward there. I'm thinking that the dust embargo, like I mentioned before, I think that's going to affect these outer kingdoms, because the Shani Dust Company they're the biggest distributor of dust, as we know, and they can't ship dust out to the other kingdoms and vice versa. I think that's really going to affect these outer kingdoms, with the Grimm getting bigger and tougher, and bandits as well. Is just going to make things so much far worse for them. And then we'll see more of Weiss. The charity concert, her practicing her singing and her summoning, which we saw in the intro as well. So I definitely think we'll get more of them. I think we will get some more Blake, but maybe not till a little bit later on, once she actually gets to Menagerie. But she's on the boat at the moment, so I don't think we'll see any more of her until she actually arrives in Menagerie. And hopefully we'll get to see those other characters we saw in the intro, which appear to be her family. So that'll be fantastic as well. And I don't think we'll see Yang again till later as well. That's just my feeling. So we might not get to see Blake and Yang till chapter 6, the final chapter, again, until the properly Rooster Teeth will take a break. As I hear they usually take a break after chapter 6, like they did last volume. I think we'll see Hazel, Baddie, meeting with Adam and the leader of the White Fang. I definitely think we'll see that happening in these chapters. We might also see Dr. Watts meeting with the informant in Mistral. A lot of people think it might be Raven. Possible. I wonder if it's a character we have met or someone new. It'll be really good if it's a character we've already met. Hopefully Team Ranger will run into Farmer Boy, like I mentioned before, so I hope that will happen. Hope we'll see him again as well. Definitely, after getting such a long glimpse of him in chapter 1, I think we're definitely going to be seeing him again sometime soon. And yeah, and hopefully maybe we'll get to see what's going on a bit more in Beacon and Vale as well, but I don't think so, since we already had a little bit of a glimpse of it. So yeah, they're probably all stating really obvious. Hopefully I've mentioned something that you guys didn't think of anyway, but that's just my thoughts and opinions so far anyway. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you check me out on RWBY and Minu. I plan to do these sort of videos, like I said, maybe every 3 chapters. I don't know, I'll just see what happens. I might, yeah, just go with the flow. I'm new to doing reactions to the actual RWBY volumes as they're coming out, so yeah, this is all new territory to me. But yeah, I hope you liked this video. Give the video a like if you did, and I'll catch you all in the next one, which will be chapter 4, hopefully, which I'm totally excited for. Okay, see you later guys, bye! What is it? Oh, robotica! I didn't think she would get there so quickly.